Okay, perfect. Welcome, welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. Super excited about our last teaching of the year for Blackma radicals in the School for Black Feminist Politics. And we have the honor of KáLyn Coghill closing us out. So super, super excited. And feel free, y'all, to use the chat to share your name, your pronouns, and where you're based. We'll love to shout out a few folks as we start waiting for more people to come into the teaching. Thank y'all so much for joining. Hi, Adira. I hope I'm saying your name correctly. Seattle by Atlanta. Okay. Oh, I see Montreal is in the house. Oh, Vancouver. Bridget from New York City. Thank you for being here. Alexis from Houston, Texas. Oh, hey, from London, Steph. Ashley and Sean, Richmond, Virginia, Savannah, Phoenix, Arizona. Wow, thank y'all so much for being here. Oh my gosh. KáLyn, someone from Sunshine from Kampala, Uganda is here. Oh, wow. Hey, Sheila from Paris, France. Thank y'all so much for being here. I see someone from Philly. Okay. 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 We are about to get started in a few moments. I see some folks from Los Angeles, the Netherlands. Thank y'all for being here. Austin, Texas, let's go. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We're going to wait like a few more moments because I want to honor our time, KáLyn's time for this amazing teaching. We got a lot of Richmond folks out here, Kay. Period. Well, I'm going to get started. Welcome, everyone. My name is Jamie Swift. I use she, her pronouns. I'm the executive director and founder of Blackma Radicals. And if you're not familiar with Blackma Radicals, we are a Black feminist advocacy organization dedicated to uplifting and centering Black feminist activism around the world. I'm super excited for this teaching led by K Cogill regarding clapping back and digital misogynoir, and I'm about to introduce them formally soon, but I really want to lay down some ground rules before we get started, right? I want to honor our amazing ASL interpreter, Gloshanda. Thank you so much for being here. I also want to make sure I'm speaking slowly. I also want to say that this is a safe space, right? And so no queerphobia, transphobia, anti-Blackness, anything of that sort is not welcome here and will not be accepted, and I will kick you out, right? So please honor our space and please honor our guests, right? So we are here for K Coghill's wonderful teaching on Clapping Back, a look into digital misogynoir and online harm reduction practices for the School for Black Feminist Politics. If you're not familiar with the School for Black Feminist Politics, it is the Black feminist political education hub of Blackma Radicals, where we have a mission of transforming and expanding the frame of reference of Black politics through the power of Black feminisms. So, I have the honor of introducing our amazing teaching curator, KáLyn K Cogill, they, them pronouns, MA, is a PhD candidate, whoop, whoop, in media, art, and text at Virginia Commonwealth University. Their research focuses on online gender-based violence and how Black women and non-binary femmes create means of harm reduction against misogynoir on social media websites. Their work also includes investigating the experiences of Black girls and femmes on social media and how they create sites of joy on apps like TikTok. They are the digital director of Me Too International, an abortion doula, poet, and is the founder / co-facilitator of Glow, a sister circle based at a high school in Richmond, Virginia. So Kay, I'm gonna pass it over to you, and thank you so much for being here.
I am so happy to be here. I firstly would like to say thank you to my big sis, Brooklyn, who introduced me to Jamie. I have been following Black women radicals since I started my PhD program in 2020. And I actually attended one of their first teach-ins with Dr. Z on whole ontology. And I knew from that moment that I needed to watch everything that they were doing because the work is just amazing. And Jamie, we really just appreciate you for creating this safe space for us to talk about things that are important to us. So my name is KáLyn, but I go by K. My pronouns are they, them. I identify as a Black, queer, disabled, non-binary femme, and I am based in Richmond, Virginia, 804 all day. I even have it across my knuckles. It says Richmond as well. I'm dedicated to the 804. E-yip to all my sorors out there for Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated. I see you all in the chat. So today's teaching is going to teach us a little bit about misogynoir. We're going to also talk about digital misogynoir, and then also some harm reduction practices that I do, but also that I have learned more about doing my dissertation research, where I interviewed Black women and non-binary femmes to get their feedback on how they protect themselves on Twitter. I talked to them about how digital misogynoir impacts their experiences on Twitter, and also just their experiences on Twitter as Black women and non-binary femmes. So that is what I'll be chatting about today. So a quick agenda. I will be doing a quick narrative explaining my journey to studying misogynoir and digital misogynoir, explaining how did I get to this point. I'll be going over some key terms, providing examples of those terms for you all, so you all feel empowered to go out in the world and be able to talk about misogynoir and digital misogynoir with your friends and family and community. And then I will be talking about the tactics, the harm reduction tactics, next steps with my research, and just leaving you all with some things to think about. So what I want you all to think about right now to yourself is, when did you first experience violence? I would like to say this is going to be a trigger warning for sexual assault. I was 9 years old when I was first molested. I did not know that my body and my autonomy would be something that did not belong to me for the remainder of my life. In 2015, I experienced digital misogynoir. I logged onto Twitter and was met with an overwhelming amount of follower requests from strangers, mainly Black men. I saw that I had been tagged in a photo of myself where a known troll was attempting to make fun of me. All of this stemmed from my opinion about a forum and how many of the people on there, mainly men, were bullies on platforms like Twitter. I admit, I had questioned the person's sexuality due to the way they so violently talked about the queer community. I can admit that in that moment, I was wrong. But I had watched these users spew misogynistic, homophobic, and fatphobic rhetoric online almost daily. Although I had blocked and muted most of them, it felt like their tweets would seep into my Twitter feed from other users arguing with them about how wrong their tweets and ideas were. The person who harmed me online took it upon themselves to use their followers to intimidate me for speaking out against the blatant misogynoir and homophobic remarks I had seen in the past. I was not the first person to call them out, but I was the first Black woman to go on a podcast and name the names of accounts that I had witnessed causing harm on Twitter. The podcast, which I spoke out on, also ran by a Black man who was also a member of this forum, invited this person onto their show to respond to my thoughts. He used the episode to berate me, tell me to harm myself, and talk about my physical appearance. Luckily for me, my Twitter page was private, so I was able to avoid many of the mean comments online after his episode aired. But I could still see how this person and their followers were talking about me. Some even made threats to harm me or encouraged me to harm myself for my opinions. Although I had been on Twitter since 2009, this was not my first time witnessing misogynoir, but it was my first time being a victim of online harassment. I felt so low and afraid to say anything back because I was unsure if this digital violence could turn into physical violence. Many people, even friends, did not understand the severity of what I was experiencing and did not understand the emotional and mental turmoil I was in. I never figured out who sent them my personal selfies that only my friends could see. I never got an apology, and no one ever asked if I was okay, nor did they call out this person for harassing me publicly online. This experience is one of the many experiences as a Black woman that made me feel unsafe and also made me think more deeply about the safety of others who look like me, especially online. Although this instance of violence fizzled out on its own, I still find myself on edge when using social media to voice my opinions. I take a lot of precautions by preemptively blocking accounts that harass Black women, muting slurs, and making my page private if a tweet of mine goes viral. These forms of harm reduction inform my curiosity to research how other Black women and non-binary femmes create harm reduction online against digital violence and misogynoir. I'm particularly interested in how we protect ourselves online. Uh-oh, my little thing stopped. How we protect ourselves online. Give me a second. And the lengths we will go to create harm reduction tactics for others we see being attacked online. So I wanted to share that with you all because I wanted you all to know that my positionality as a researcher, as an academic, as a practitioner comes from an actual experience of digital misogynoir. I have experienced it, I have witnessed it, I have comforted those that have experienced it as well. And it really informs the way that I do my work and also my praxis as a Black feminist. I love this tweet from L. Joy Williams. Free and outspoken Black women sure do get under folks' skin. We all know that Black women who are opinionated, or even just Black women who speak online about anything, any topic matter, are opening themselves up to harassment and misogynoir. So what is misogynoir? Misogynoir is a term that was coined by Dr. Moya Bailey in 2008. I am Trudy on Twitter wrote a blog post on Gradient Layer where they talked about misogynoir as well. And they talked about this unique discrimination that was a crossover of racism, sexism, misogyny, and anti-Blackness, and how it shaped the Black woman's experience, particularly in the US, in visual and digital culture. Misogynoir is different than misogyny because it is specific to the intersecting identities that Black women have. Our intersecting identities not only open us up to racism, but also opens us up to sexism and misogyny. So misogynoir is looking at that discrimination and calling a thing, right? So if you are a Black woman or non-binary femme, or you have Black women or non-binary femmes in your life, you know that they experience discrimination, but they may not have had a term to describe what that discrimination was, what that felt like, and what type of impact that made. But misogynoir is that term that sums that all up. And I would like to add Dr. Moya Bailey in their book, and there will be a reading list that will go out after this that will give you all some options of things you can read to better understand misogynoir. But in Dr. Moya Bailey's book, she makes it very clear that misogynoir doesn't just stop with Black women, right? Or just femmes. It also impacts agender folks, gender expansive folks as well. And all of these people who may present as Black and femme or be perceived as Black femme experience misogynoir in digital and visual culture. So the first example of misogynoir that I came into contact with was the Missouri versus Celia from 1855, A Slave, when I read Saidiya Hartman's Scenes of Subjection, particularly her chapter 3, Seduction and the Ruses of Powers. She discusses the laws and cases that deemed Black women as unable to be raped. This didn't mean that Black women couldn't get raped. It meant that no one would be held accountable for raping them. This is one of the earliest forms of misogynoir that I have come into contact with in my studies. It shocked me that this ideology impacted even the legal system during enslavement. The history of violence against Black women is deeply intertwined with the broader history of racial discrimination and sexism in the United States and across the world. Black women have faced systemic and pervasive violence, often experiencing multiple forms of oppression simultaneously due to their race and gender, as we know now to be called intersectionality. During the era of slavery, when this incident happened in particular, in the United States, Black women were subjected to various forms of physical, sexual, and emotional violence. Enslaved women were routinely sexually exploited by slave owners and faced brutal treatment that included physical abuse and forced labor without any legal recourse or protection. So in this particular case, Celia was being sexually assaulted by her slave master, and she had met a man on the plantation, another slave, and they had begun basically casually dating. And he told her that he wanted her to stop having sexual relations with the slave owner. But we knew that those sexual relations, like, we know that that wasn't consensual, right? So she was being raped, and her partner at the time, or soon to be partner, made her feel as if she was responsible for the sexual assault that she was experiencing. So she had went to the daughters of the slave master and told them that, I want your father to stop having sex with me. Of course, they didn't care. They're white. Why would they care? And this resulted in Celia killing the slave master. And of course, because she was a Black woman and she was a slave, they didn't care that he was about to rape her or that he had raped her previously. They just knew that she had been responsible for the death of a white slave owner. And if you look at the literature, like Scenes of Subjection, if you read Mama's Babies, Papa's Maybe by Horton Spillers, if you read America Goddamn by Treva Lindsay, you'll know that there has been a history and a lineage of violence against Black women. And this violence is very particular to us because of those intersecting identities that I talked about a little earlier. Even after the abolition of slavery, Black women continued to face violence in different forms. They were often victims of lynching, rape, and other forms of racial violence during the Jim Crow era. Additionally, Black women were excluded from the mainstream feminist movement, which primarily focused on issues faced by white women, neglecting the specific experiences and challenges of Black women. And Anna Julia Cooper, in A Voice from the South, talks a lot about these experiences that Black women have, and she's maybe one of the first folks who kind of nod towards Black feminism and this idea of intersectionality and the experiences that Black women have simply because they exist in a world that looks at them as means of production and consumption. And we all know that dates all the way back to enslavement. And one thing that I tell my students to think about in my hip hop feminism and poetry class, and also in my gender studies class, is that Black women have always experienced high levels of violence. There has never been a time in the history of Black women being brought here to America where we have not experienced violence at the hands of non-Black people, and even at the hands of people who are a part of our community, right? We've even had that intracommunal violence that we see all the time, which we will talk about a little bit later. In more recent times, the intersections of racism, sexism, and economic inequality have contributed to ongoing violence against Black women. They continue to be disproportionately affected by police brutality, domestic violence, sexual assault, and other forms of violence. I have a belief that misogynoir is the pipeline to Black femicide. I believe that misogynoir, particularly digital misogynoir, which we'll be talking about in a couple of slides, those ways that people are talking to Black women online are the ways that they think about Black women in the real world, right? In the physical world. And those physical feelings can lead to the violence and killing of Black women. So when you see someone on Twitter in particular, or in the Instagram shade room comments saying disparaging of remarks about someone such as Zaya Wade and perpetuating trans misogynoir, they truly believe those things. And the people that are liking their comment believe those things too. Their beliefs don't stop just because they have signed off of Instagram or put their phone down. Those beliefs are carried with them through their day-to-day life, which means that this puts Black women in even more danger, because there are people who have this groupthink idea around this idea that Black women do not need to be protected. Although we see people screaming all the time, protect Black women, but we know it's very clear that we are not being protected. Despite these challenges, Black women have been at the forefront of movements advocating for social justice, gender equality, and racial equity. Organizations and activists continue continue to raise awareness, push for policy changes, and work towards ending violence against Black women while highlighting their invaluable contributions to society. So we know that no one's coming to save us. And that's one of the themes that has been coming up repeatedly in the research that I've been doing as I've been going and combing through my interviews that I did, is that it is an unspoken thing that Black women know that no one is going to come save us. So we have to protect ourselves. And that has made me very interested in the way that we protect ourselves online. So a lot of the reasons why people have this disdain for Black women or these ideas around Black women also comes from these controlling images, right? So we have the welfare queen, the sapphire, the mammy, the matriarch, and the Jezebel, and I'll explain those briefly to you all. The welfare queen is this middle picture right here of Tiana Taylor from Medea's, I think it's Medea's Big Family or Medea's Happy Family, where she's like, bye. And she's supposed to be this stereotypical ghetto baby mama, right? Who is assumed to be on Section 8 and assumed to have food stamps and all these things about her, which makes her the welfare queen, because she's a poor working class Black woman who makes use of social welfare benefits, right? So that's one stereotype and controlling image. Another one is the mammy, which you will see here at the bottom left, is Viola Davis in The Help. And the mammy, as a lot of us have heard this before, is the faithful, obedient servant, right? So like this image of Viola Davis as a maid who is under the control of her white employers, but does not complain about her mistreatment, right? And this image dates back to minstrel shows, right? So this is not a new thing. A lot of these controlling images have been perpetuated and have stereotyped Black women for decades. The next one is where is it? Is the matriarch. So the strong Black woman. This says, I don't know if you all can see it, it says strong, independent Black woman who don't need no man, right? So the matriarch is the bad Black mother who fails to fulfill their womanly duties at home, contributing to the Black civil society's social problems, right? And this idea that the Black woman is too independent, and because we're independent, we are the downfall of the Black community, right? The next one is, so I did Sapphire. Oh, the next one is Sapphire. So the Sapphire that I chose is Aunt Esther. And the Sapphire is rude, loud, malicious, and overbearing. This image is the foundation of the term angry Black woman, right? So we think about women who always are quote unquote clapping back, like we're here now to talk about. Women who have very strong personalities, who are very opinionated, will be seen as the sapphire. A lot of Black feminists, especially Black feminist scholars that I've noticed, who are very vocal on social media in particular, get an onslaught of hate because people are looking at them as this sapphire image. And then the last one is the Jezebel. And right here I have one of my faves, Sexy Red, right? So the Jezebel is the horror hoochie, represents a deviant Black female sexuality, right? So Sexy Red represents this idea of a Black woman who is overtly sexual, a Black woman who is hated because she talks about sex. Sex is like the main thing that's on her mind, as they say and think. She's sometimes seen as ghetto, hood, ratchet. All of these things are a part of the Jezebel, promiscuous, and that is how they view these women. So all of these controlling images play a role in misogynoir, and we have all witnessed these stereotypes be played out in the media, whether that is through music, whether that is through movies, whether that is through literature, and we damn sure see it on social media all the time. So the next one, the next short tweet I wanted to show you all was this one from Keke Palmer. And it says, disrespecting women has become a sport. Double points if you do it publicly. It makes me so sick because it's always a joke until something happens. But even then, it's just a viral moment to most, right? So Keke Palmer was talking about how Megan Thee Stallion and other Black women are treated on social media when they experience violence or when something happens that people don't see as favorable, right? And this idea of everyone's looking for a viral moment. And if that viral moment is at the expense of Black women, then why the hell not, right? So what is digital misogynoir? I define digital misogynoir as the unique discrimination that Black women and non-binary gender expansive femmes experience in the digital space, such as social media websites, forums, YouTube, etc. It is still the convergence of racism, sexism, misogyny, and anti-Blackness, but it's done in a digital format, right? So when we think about digital misogynoir, we're thinking about how people are responding to Black women on websites like Twitter. We think about shade room comments. We think about the YouTube video comments when Glorilla or Megan Thee Stallion post a video, what people are saying in the comments. And one thing that's really interesting about digital misogynoir, an organization called Glitch UK, which is based in the UK, it's a charity organization that focuses on online gender-based violence against marginalized people, did a digital misogynoir report, which you all should check out, where they found over 9,000 highly toxic posts about Black women, way more than those aimed at white women. So there is data that shows that digital misogynoir happens more to Black women than any other group of people who are using the internet. And that is astounding to me, it's upsetting to me, and it's quite frustrating because it just shows how misogynoir has materialized in the digital space. So I'm going to show you some examples of misogynoir and kind of explain them. So this first one up here that I'm moving the cursor over says, just my opinion, but Meg portraying herself with aggressive masculine undertones is why people reacted with no sympathy. Essentially, we treat her like a man who got shot. If a feminine artist like Janae Aiko or Beyonce got hit, the energy would be different. So this person, Blackjack, and I never hide the person's Twitter name because I'm one of those people, if you decided to say something fucked up, I'm going to make sure that everyone sees that you said that. I'm putting it on the Summer Jam screen, okay? So this person believes that Megan Thee Stallion being a rapper and masculine undertones are coming from this idea of trans misogynoir that they're putting onto Megan Thee Stallion is the reason why people do not care that she got shot, right? Which we know is blatant misogynoir and digital misogynoir and also trans misogynoir. The next one is, I'm sorry, but Leslie Jones is too much for 8:30 in the morning, right? So this idea that Leslie Jones, because of her personality, how she looks, is something that we should not be seeing in the morning because she's deemed as ugly and unattractive and not desirable. And desirability politics plays a role in how people will treat you online. The next one below, it says, Tory Lanez shot a snitch. Everything makes sense. So this is from when Megan Thee Stallion was shot, and people were saying that she was a snitch because she came out to the police and let them know who had shot her. But for those that know anything about what a snitch is, that is not what a snitch technically is. Snitches are typically people who are telling on someone that is a part of a crime organization or a crime that they committed together, that they don't want to get in trouble for. And Megan Thee Stallion was just holding her abuser accountable, but she was looked at as a snitch by a lot of people on social media because she didn't protect the Black man. And then another one is Chica. So Chica has her own problems with how she uses the internet, and she has stuff that she's been problematic about. But one thing that I don't condone is always the butt of the joke when she says anything that's controversial. And if you can state that without having to immediately go to being fatphobic and misogynistic. So as you can see in this post, she's talking about the movie Baby Mama and her watching it for the first time. Nothing controversial. She's just talking about the movie. And someone reposts and says, so where's the big tub of French fries at? What does that have to do with anything, right? So digital misogynoir also includes colorism, and it also includes classism, and it also includes fat phobia, right? All of these things converge when we're talking about the harms that Black women and non-binary femmes and gender expansive folks experience online. I have a couple of more examples. So down here to the right, if you all remember, someone made this political, it's not a political cartoon, but they made this cartoon, and this is supposed to be Serena Williams after she lost one of her matches. And up here they're saying, can you just let her win? They made her look like a large Black woman with very large features, very exaggerated mouth. They made her look very, quote unquote, not attractive and almost like a giant baby. Trying to say that because she had an outburst at the game, like a lot of people do when they lose, right? That she was a problem and that she was a big baby and that she was this loud Black woman and this angry Black woman, right? So they're perpetuating the satire in this right now, right? They are looking at her as this rude, loud, obnoxious Black woman because she didn't win something. This middle one is a tweet that says, I have a feeling the Jay-Z face jeans are about to really hit Blue Ivy and I feel sorry for her. And then a white woman responds, they haven't already. And then this person responds, I don't know what their race is. You're right, but she's lucky. If it happens now, she'll definitely grow out of it. Get the ugly duckling phase done early. They are literally talking about a child. They are calling this Black girl ugly because she looks like her father. And I could not for the life of me find any tweets of folks who were talking about Blue Ivy's hair besides the Saucy Santana tweet where he called her nappy headed. And as a lot of you all know, when Blue Ivy was born, there was a lot of negative comments on social media about what her hair looked like and what she looked like and how unattractive she was and how they needed to do something with her hair, basically berating and dismantling this Black girl's self-esteem because she doesn't look the way that they want her to look as a Black girl. And then this last example is an example that truly, every time I look at this example in my dissertation or when I talk about this example, I literally want to scream internally because this person thinks that they are a medical doctor. They say, y'all, so Tory Lanez made some sense, to be honest. I Googled the anatomy of a foot, and it is almost impossible to miss tendons and bones from a bullet in one foot. But both feet, I hope Meg didn't get pressured into line. And they took the time to put photos of the feet and what is considered the ligaments of the feet, the joints, and all of those things. This person literally Googled the anatomy of the foot because they didn't want to believe that a Black woman could be telling the truth about being shot by a Black man. If that's not digital misogynoir, I don't know what is. Like, to go to those extremes is proving that it does not matter who you are. It does not matter how much celebrity you have. If they do not like Black women, you are going to be harassed. You are going to experience violence either way. So the next thing I'm going to do is show this video. And it's talking, I'm not going to show the video, but it's talking about Cardi B winning on her libel case against Tasha K. And basically what happened is Tasha K has a YouTube channel. I think it's called Unwind with Tasha K. And basically she is a gossip blogger. She gossips about everyone. And she had said something along the lines that Cardi B had herpes, I believe, and she went on the record of saying like all of these disparaging things about Cardi B. So Cardi B sued her and Cardi B won the civil suit. So here is a brief chat about what happened with that case.
Cardi B has won close to $4 million in her lawsuit against YouTuber Tasha K. So here's the breakdown, you guys. She's actually won $1.2 million in the libel case, $1.5 million in punitive damages, and $1.3 million in legal fees. Wow. You know, so initially we heard just it was the 1.2, whatever. Right. It's actually more than that. It's closer to $4 million. And Tasha K was found guilty of 1 count of libel and invasion of privacy and guilty of 2 counts of slander. Cardi testified last week that she felt extremely suicidal over the Tasha K claim. So, guys, what are your thoughts on all of this?
People have to be careful with what they say about other people. We have to be careful just because you think it, just because you don't say it. You know, you have to be careful of people's reputation. Cardi B is a huge star, and you can't just say anything about anyone just because you feel like it.
Mm-hmm.
Tommy, what do you think?
Well, that's the position we're in, and especially with social media.
Yes.
Anybody can write. It's like the bathroom stall to me. Anybody can write anything they want, and everybody gets to read it.
That's so true.
So it's like, you can have this career that you built and you worked hard for, and somebody that got a living room couch on their porch can tear you down.
Right. Yeah. Well, Cardi has released a lengthy statement thanking the court and also talking about the effects that the past 4 years have had on her with everything that has happened to her. The bigger picture, I think, about all of this is that this will affect bloggers. And that's very important. To really, because this is a big case. If this hadn't came out this way, it would have been detrimental for a lot of people that's in the public eye. Absolutely. And that's just, I don't care if you're a celebrity or not.
And they're all just kind of just talking about this idea, and they talk about it a little bit more in this video later on in it, about how there are some bloggers who are like, well, we don't get opportunities to be in mainstream media, so we have to do gossip and stuff like that. And they were talking about, Lonnie Levin particularly was talking about how there are plenty of stories, factual stories that you can talk about when it comes to different artists and famous people, but you don't have to lie about it. And that was one of the big issues in the case with Cardi B, was that Tasha K blatantly lied about a medical condition that Cardi B did not have, and the implications of that medical condition and what that can mean, not only for herself, but also her past sexual partners. If she did have this illness and did not disclose to them, that would have also been a problem, right? So it's a much bigger thing than just, oh, she said something that wasn't true about Cardi B. No, it goes much further than that, because that not only impacts her, that impacts everyone that she has a reach to. Some other common examples of digital misogynoir and just online gender-based violence are doxing. So doxing is the release of someone's personal information, address, job, school name, etc., without their permission, in an attempt to have people find them and possibly harm them. Right here, Talib Kweli has been harassing this young lady named Moya for, it's probably been a few years now. And people, this guy who is Mr. Wizard, went on Instagram and put her address on there. And as you can see down here, someone has hashtag get the strap. And for those that don't know what that means, I believe it was 50 Cent had did a video where he was talking about something, and get the strap is in reference to get the gun, right? So they are using these hashtags to basically say, this is her current address, get the strap, like go inflict violence on this woman. Revenge porn, which a lot of us have heard about, and it is illegal, is releasing nude photos or sexual videos of someone online without their permission. Intimate partner violence, right? So how does that relate to digital misogynoir or online gender-based violence? This is something that I observed on Twitter through my research, but more frequently I see it on TikTok and YouTube. And this can look like mental, emotional, financial, or physical abuse being displayed online. An example of this could be someone berating their partner online in a video and posting it for everyone to see. It can also look like controlling what your partner posts, who they follow, and what social media platforms they are allowed to use. The next thing is targeted harassment, which is harassing someone directly online. This can look like tweeting them disparaging things and having others join you to essentially harass or bully them, very similar to trolling. The next thing is embarrassing your partner online. And this is something that I coined, is a form of violence based on couples pranks that are done online that embarrass the partner or put them in a dangerous situation. We see a lot of these on TikTok, and we also see a lot of these on YouTube as well, where people will prank their significant other, and it's all ha-ha funny until someone gets upset or someone gets hurt, right? So this could also be looked at as a form of online gender-based violence, and it particularly happens to a lot of Black women, where there have been instances where I've seen pranks where a Black woman just got her hair straightened and her partner will pour water on her head and record it and post it on the internet and laugh and think it's funny. Now people are in the comments like, oh, she's so mad her hair got wet. You know, you're not supposed to get a Black woman's hair wet. And to most people, they'll be like, oh, it's just a joke. It's not that serious, but you are embarrassing your partner online. The next thing is sexual harassment and sexual violence. So this is something new that I have been researching. I have been looking at deep fake porn and AI generated porn, where they're taking people's photos and videos, and they are digitally raping them. And they have done this to artists like Nicki Minaj, where they have taken her photos or videos of her, and they have put them into pornography to make it as if they were having sex with Nicki Minaj, right? So that is also a form of digital misogynoir, along with just regular sexual assault and violence online. And then the last one is sexual and violent memes. So that is people memifying you, or just a memification of extremely sexual or violent things. They can use actual photos of real people or photos of cartoons or fictional characters. So I think a lot about when they make those cartoons of SpongeBob SquarePants and Sandy Cheeks, and they make them look like they are Ratchet or Hood, and SpongeBob is having sex with Sandy, and they post that on the internet. That's posting sexual or violent memes, right? Or they send it to you and they're like, oh, what do you think about this? And you, without consent, you did not ask to see that. That is them sexually harassing you. And I know to some folks who are listening, this may seem extreme, but like I said earlier, what is done in the digital space materializes in the physical space. What people are doing online is a direct reflection of what they truly believe when they step away from their keyboards. So what is harm reduction? Harm reduction online refers to the different strategies and interventions and tactics that people use to protect themselves online. If you are in like the public health space, you know that harm reduction can look like assisting people with substance abuse and different addictions and things like that, and diseases. But when we're talking about digital misogynoir, we're talking about the ways in which Black women and non-binary femmes, that's who I'm focusing on, protect themselves online. So I'm going to talk a little bit about some examples of harm reduction tactics that have come up not only in the interviews that I've done with Black women and non-binary femmes, but also harm reduction tactics that I've used, that my friends have used, that I've seen people talk about on the internet. So blocking, we all know about blocking, muting, reporting. Hashtag activism is something that Dr. Moya Bailey talks about in her book, Hashtag Activism. So we think about hashtags like Me Too, You OK Sis, Solidarity is for White Women. These are all hashtags that further conversations around the disproportionate harming of Black women. You can make your page private. You can do selective sharing, which means that you are selective of what you post on the internet. So a lot of people that I interviewed, they don't post about their job. They don't post where they live. When they go on vacation, they don't post that they're on vacation until they get back from their location, just to make sure that they're safe. Taking a social media hiatus, changing your avatar, which I thought was really interesting. I had some participants who would change their avatar to a cartoon, and that would allow them to be able to talk about things and have opinions on things without experiencing an onslaught of digital misogynoir. And the last thing is limited engagement. So one of my participants in particular talked about how they will engage with someone 3 times. And then the 3rd time, if that person is not seemingly understanding what they're saying, or they just want to continue to argue, they block them, mute them, and then remove themselves from the conversation. So that is limited engagement. That also can look like you not responding to people you don't know, right? So if you post a tweet and it goes viral and you have people in your mentions on Twitter in particular, or people in the comments on the Shade Room adding you, like trying to get your attention, you limit your engagement with them by not responding to them. But my favorite harm reduction of all is clapping back. What is clapping back? So I'm really excited about this because so far I have not seen the term clapping back in the research. So I'm hoping that I'm the person that can coin clapping back in the research. But as of right now, I'm looking at clapping back as a witty response or retort, the finding out after fucking around, a rhetorical device to hold folk accountable, right? So it's this idea of holding folks accountable for disrespecting you as a Black woman or femme and harassing you or making you feel like you don't belong in a space. So it's being witty about it. But wait, this ain't nothing new. So clapping back is not a new thing. Black women have been doing this forever. And Check It While I Wreck It by Gwendolyn Pugh, they talk about this idea of bringing rec. And bringing rec for Black participants in the public sphere historically has meant reshaping the public gaze in such a way as to be recognized as human beings, as functioning and worthwhile members of society, and not to be shut out or pushed away from the public. Another thing is talking back, which challenges political gesture of resistance that forces Black women nameless, voiceless, and invisible. And then we have sass. Sass is a rhetorical weapon of self-defense used to preserve self-esteem and develop a safe distance between oneself and those who would seek to do harm. And then the second one, the last one, is the levels of going off. So there's levels to going off. So there's a sister sass level, there's a sapphire level. The sister sass level is the act of sashaying away and showing disinterest through nonverbal communication. So a good example of that is someone's, talking a whole bunch of mess to you on Twitter and you don't have time to respond to them because you're not interested in what they're saying. So you send them the Nene Leakes gif of Nene doing something like this, right? That idea of just like, I'm not listening to you. I don't know who you're talking to. Then we have the sapphire level. This level is a level that can become abusive and use violent tactics, right? So this surpasses clapping back. And this is when you get to the point of you start asking people to turn their location on because you want to fight them, right? You want to see them in the streets for how they're treating you. There's also turning it out. And this is the Black woman's response to being made to feel less than a grown woman. So someone who challenges you as being an adult. There's nigger bitch fit, which is the embodiment of righteous anger and rage, a response to being fed up. There's bulletproof diva, is a Black woman who recognizes her beauty and strength because she realizes that the larger society will never validate her or even be able to comprehend her true worth. I think that Megan Thee Stallion does a very good job of being a bulletproof diva, despite the amount of hatred and the amount of harassment she has experienced recently with everything that happened with Tory Lanez. She has still leaned into the fact that she's a bad bitch at the end of the day, and that she is going to continue to live her life as such. And then diva citizenship is when occurs when a person stages a dramatic coup in a public sphere in which she does not have the privilege. So this would be hashtag activism, right? Or getting your homegirls to help you get this troll out the paint, screenshotting their page and doing saying, hey, everyone, go report this person, right? So that would be diva citizenship. These are all examples of the lineage that leads to this idea of clapping back. So I have some examples of clapping back in music, and then I have some examples of clapping back specifically on Twitter. So the first example of clapping back is the beginning of Shots Fired by Megan Thee Stallion. So let me press play. So she says in the song, imagine niggas lying about shooting a real bitch, just a save face for the rapper niggas you chill with. So she is talking directly about Tory Lanez. She is clapping back in the form of a music, in the form of a diss track to someone that harmed her. And the entire song is her talking about that situation and talking about her lost friendship with Kelsey. She's talking about how they were talking about her in the media, how people were talking about her on Twitter. And Shots Fired, she is talking about all of the things that people have done to her since this incident, and she is clapping back through music. The next example is in reference to Drake. Drake released a song with 21 Savage, and I don't know the exact lines because I don't listen to Drake, but he said something along the lines of like something about a stallion. And obviously he was talking about Megan Thee Stallion. He tried to say, no, I was just talking about a tall woman, but everyone knows that Megan Thee Stallion refers to herself as like the stallion, right? And Megan Thee Stallion clapped back on Twitter and said, "Stop using my shooting for clout, bitch ass niggas. Since when the fuck is it cool to joke about women getting shot? You niggas, especially rap niggas, are lame. Ready to boycott about shoes and clothes, but dog pile on a black woman when she says one of y'all homeboys abused her. And when the motherfucking facts come out, remember all y'all hoe ass favorite rappers that stood behind a nigga that shot a female. People attack me, y'all go up for it. I defend myself, now I'm doing too much. Every time it never ends, and this does not happen until I came out and said I got shot. Y'all don't fuck with me. Okay, cool. Fuck it, bye." So Megan Thee Stallion is going through many emotions in this moment where she is clapping back, but she is also feeling the heaviness of not having people believe that she's experienced violence, and she is experiencing that isolating feeling and that loneliness and that fear of like not having anybody to protect her, to save her, to support her, right? The next example is what I would consider, in hip hop at least, one of the first examples of a woman clapping back at a man in a song in particular. So this is Lauryn Hill's Lost Ones. Rumor has it that this is a diss track to Wyclef. Emphasis on rumor has it. If you are like a Lauryn Hill fanatic and you know that ain't true, I'll just say rumor has it. I ain't say it was actual factual, but that's what the rumor is. So I'm just going to play the beginning of the song.
It's funny how money changes situation. Miscommunication lead to complication. My emancipation don't fit your equation. I was on the humble, you on every station. Someone play young love and like she done. But remember not to game the one for the sun.
So she comes out the gate like saying like money has changed you. You think that you are this amazing person. You're not humble. You're upset that I no longer want to work with you. My emancipation don't fit your equation. Like, you did not expect for me to go out on my own and do this solo thing, right? So this is another example of clapping back as well. And I know that those two of the examples were in music, but I think it's important that we talk about music when we are talking about digital misogynoir, because a lot of hip hop artists are popping up on TikTok and Instagram and on Twitter, and they are using these social media platforms to build community, but also to promote their music. And a lot of their music is becoming more well-known because of these social media platforms and them pushing back against digital misogynoir. So these are my last two slides. So they say that sometimes Black women can be too much or that we are not enough. So what I want you to be thinking about is, when did you first experience digital misogynoir? And I want you to kind of sit with that over the next few days and think about an experience that you had and how that impacted you and made you feel. And then also I want you to think about the ways in which you can show up for other Black women and non-binary femmes when you see them being harassed online, what you can do to support them in that moment. And I want to close out with a poem that I think is appropriate by Lucille Clifton called "Won't You Celebrate With Me?" Won't you celebrate with me what I have shaped into a kind of life? I had no model, born in Babylon, both non-white and woman. What did I see to be except myself? I made it up here on this bridge between starshine and clay. My one hand holding tight, my other hand. Come celebrate with me that every day something has tried to kill me and has failed. Come celebrate with me that every day something has tried to kill me and has failed. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you so much to the future Dr. Coghill. Thank you on that wonderful discussion and teaching on digital misogynoir. As you can see from the comments, I'm going to read, this was beautiful. Thank you so much. Amazing, period. Excellent presentation. Alexis was like, you ate that up. Right? Period. And my mind, Fanny L says, my mind has been rewired from this teaching. Thank you for that. This was beautifully executed. Thank you. 4 + 4 = 8. Sarita said, "Thank, truly incredible. Can't wait to read and continue to support such important work." And what I really, someone else said, congrats, Dr. K. I'm waiting for your book. Very much so waiting for the book. And I love what you said about how basically what manifests digitally in this violence that Black women and gender expansive and non-binary femmes face actualizes in the physical space. And it is so critical to recognize that, and also the resistant strategies that Black women and gender expansive people are enacting in our everyday lives, right, to resist against this digital misogynoir and this online violence. So thank you so much. Really appreciate that. I was taking notes because it just happens so much in our lives that I think that sometimes it's like, oh, this is, I'm not going to say it's acceptable, but we're so used to being demoralized, whether it's in real life or online. But you have really cemented and discussed the ways in which we are offering our resistance or enacting resistance as well. So I knew this was going to be incredible, but truly incredible, right? So y'all, we are going into the Q&A portion of the discussion of the teaching. And I'm going to give Kay some time to settle down and rest because an hour of talking is a lot. But please, there's some questions that I see here. Use the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen to ask any questions, right? I'm also want to just read some more comments to give Kay some reprieve, but someone said, can we talk about the foresight? Woo. Oh my God, shout out to the ASL interpreters too, period. Yes. Thank you so much. I love the colors, visuals, examples. So incredible. Truly incredible. Can't wait to read and continue to support such important work. Thank you. Right. And so I'm going to get into some questions for UK. And please, y'all, don't be mad if we can't get around to all the questions. And so one of the questions that I see here, someone asked, thoughts, and I'm also going to put the questions in the chat. Someone asked, thoughts on using pick me as a response to other Black women piling in on digital misogynoir.
I am so happy you asked this because I actually talk about, I call the section in my dissertation, Pick Me and Me Men, where I talk about this idea of internalized misogynoir and how that impacts how women engage with other Black women and how they pick me's tend to believe that if they align with the Black man when he is degrading the Black women, that they will be chosen, right? So it's also this idea of partnership and the longing to have someone. And I think that it is unfortunate that that happens, but I do understand that internalized misogynoir is something that has to be unlearned and that we are not raised to be a girl's girl, right? A lot of us are not raised, right? Think about people who was like, I don't have no females friends because female friends are messy, right? When people say stuff like that, like that's a part of like the conversations that are happening in our communities. And I think that that plays a role in pick-me's joining in on the harassment when digital misogynoir happens.
Ooh, listen, child, we gotta really work with some pick-me's. We really do need to help them go through some political education process. And it reminds me of what Bell Hooks talked about when patriarchy has no gender, right? And really emphasizing that. So someone asked, I will also put this in the chat, I'm curious about how this wonderful work on digital misogynoir connects with Dr. Sophia Umoja Noble's work on algorithms of oppression.
Fun fact, that's actually my mentor. So So my work is deeply influenced by her. She's also on my dissertation committee. So she's all wrapped up in this digital misogynoir stuff with me. But so my first semester of my PhD program, I took a digital sociology class, and we had to read Algorithms of Oppression. And reading Algorithms of Oppression made me want to look even further into how the systems that are put in place that deal with the reporting that we do on Twitter are biased, right? So when I did my master's thesis, I did it on digital misogynoir before I knew what digital misogynoir was. I did it on Leslie Jones and how she was treated during the Ghostbusters release, and about the online harassment she experienced on Twitter. And I particularly dissected Twitter's safety and community guidelines, looking at how it had biases in it. And reading Dr. Noble's book just basically confirmed what I already was thinking, is that the algorithm is biased as fuck, and they need to have real people who look like me and look like, you know, us in the room actually going through these reports that people are making, because they're missing a lot of the cultural references that can also be seen as slurs or forms of oppression.
Thank you so much for that, Kay. And that's amazing how Dr. Noble is on your dissertation committee. That is wonderful, right? So we have another question. And I'm also going to put this in the chat right now for everyone. Would the genre of social posts where cis men come online to list out the types of emotional harm, like cheating, they've put their Black women partners through as a compliment in like anniversary posts, or like Jindena talking about, quote, robbing women of their baby making years in a podcast, be an example of digital misogynoir under embarrassing their partner online?
Yes. Oh, that makes me so happy. That means you learned something. That is exactly what that is. That is exactly what that is. And I hate to see those posts. Like, why would you ever say that about your partner? She stuck with me through thick and thin. I cheated on her 16 times and had 4 outside kids, but I love her though. What? You are literally embarrassing your partner, and you're making everyone feel bad for her and you because she's still with you. So yes, thank you. That is an example of embarrassing your partner online.
Period, right? Another question that we have, and I want to see how much time. Okay, we're okay at time. Do you mind if we still answer some questions, Kay?
Yeah, I would love to answer the question. That's my favorite part.
Perfect. Another question is, how do we decipher clapping back as responses to either avoid more harassment and to not repeat the same form of violence to others online?
Yes. So responsibly clapping back, and I've been theorizing about this because I want to make sure that we aren't furthering harm, is holding people accountable. That's what makes it different than perpetuating the violence. So your clapping back will be holding people accountable. So how Megan Thee Stallion said in her post, let me go back on my PowerPoint, how she said, stop using my shooting for clout, bitch ass niggas. Of course she called them bitch ass niggas. That was a little bit of violence, but stop using my shooting for clout, since when the F is it cool to joke about a woman getting shot, right? So she's clapping back, but she's not inflicting harm on these people. She's saying like, what you're doing is not okay, and I'm going to call you out on it. So it's this idea, it makes me think of Loretta Ross from Sister Song, this idea of calling people in, right? Instead of calling them out. And I think that clapping back can be done in a way to call people in if you are holding them accountable. It's not a tool to be used to embarrass someone or to further violence towards someone. It's really just a tool to hold them accountable and to hopefully sway them to understand that what they're doing is causing harm towards Black women.
Thank you so much. I'm about to put this other question in the chat, and it reads, in the same way that digital interactions can manifest in real life, and the girls have found ways to reduce harm online, can you speak to the ways we can enact and engage with harm reduction in real life, especially if we don't have previous experience with doing it?
So I'm a very transparent person and scholar. And to be quite honest, I have not figured out, and I was literally just talking to my husband about this today. I have not figured out yet how we can create harm reduction in real life without physical violence being the result, because a lot of people meet the idea of being called in or someone challenging the way that they're thinking as grounds for them to physically assault them. So as of right now, I don't have any ideas or tactics on that. What I do want to say is that if you are experiencing harm in the physical world, to definitely lean in your community and don't be afraid to look into restorative and transformative justice, because they do a lot. They talk a lot about harm and how to deal with harms in the community. I just don't have any examples because I'm not even sure myself how I would handle a situation offline in real life if someone was perpetuating misogynoir towards me.
Thank you for your transparency with that question, because I think that many of us are still trying to figure that out as well. The next question is, would you consider a documentary film version of your dissertation?
If somebody would pay for it, absolutely.
Period. Okay. So this next question is, and I'm sorry as I try to put all these questions in the chat and make sure our wonderful ASL interpreter sees them as well. The next question, I feel so blessed to be in this space with so many like-minded Black femme folk who see the severity of these behaviors online. How do you get other Black femmes with internalized misogynoir to understand without feeling like it doesn't apply to them?
One thing that my brother has taught me is that you have to know when some people, and this is going to sound terrible, but when some people may get left behind until they're ready to move forward, I can give them the information, give them examples of it, kind of point out examples in their lives. But if they're not ready to have these realistic conversations and unlearn some of this harm, it's going to be very difficult for you to convince them otherwise. I'm not in the business of convincing people that misogynoir exists. I know that misogynoir exists. And because I know that it exists, my focus is to continue to talk about it in hopes that people who don't know about it will find interest in it and be able to relate it to what they're experiencing in their world. And I think by giving relatable examples, like I do on my TikTok and Instagram, I do something called Misogynoir in 60 Seconds, where I talk about instances of misogynoir that are happening in everyday popular Black culture, right? And that is a good way for people to be able to see it show up in things that they're engaging with. And I think that helps people unlearn.
Thank you so much, Kay, for that response. I also want to make clear that we cannot get to all the questions. So please, like I said before, so if we don't get to all the questions, please don't feel slighted or whatnot. We just can't get to all the questions because there are a lot of questions, okay? The next question, so glad to witness your work. Let me actually, 1 second. Hold on, put this in. Perfect. Just put it in the chat. So glad to witness your work outside of Twitter, X. Loved your framework for self-defense and the terms you applied to the actions. I noticed that your examples were of perceived cis heterosexual Black women. Can you think of any examples of how queer and or trans folks have clapped back?
Yes. So first off, Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion are queer. They're bisexual. So I just wanted to make sure that we said that. But one of the examples that I recently enjoyed is Saucy Santana clapping back at DJ Academics about how he continuously berates Black women, in particular his friend Carisha, Young Miami from the City Girls, and how Saucy Santana talked about how, you know, this clapback of like how you're always talking about Black women, but I never see you keeping that same energy for Black men. Right. And that, you know, I'm going to hold you accountable for doing that. So that's like the first example that popped into my mind is Saucy Santana bringing DJ Academics to the carpet and saying, you are the problem. So that's an example that came to me.
Thank you so much. I'm about to put this next question. Ooh, they got some questions for you, child. They got questions for you, Kay.
Oh, I also want to say real quick, I see about Saucy Santana being problematic. Yes, I stated earlier during the presentation that Saucy Santana was problematic, but that was just an answer that of someone who had clapback that came to mind that is queer. So they fit the description.
Okay, thank you. The next question, do you have any suggestions for how to practice somatic interventions when dealing with the presence of digital misogynoir? I'm thinking about how much the digital space is a landscape for gaslighting and how to physically get that out of the mind, body, and energetic system.
I sure do. I have a whole website for you. So I'm the digital director for Me Too International, and we have a healing portal called Survivor Sanctuary. It's for survivors of sexual violence, but any person who's experienced violence can go on there and make an account for free. And it has somatic lessons, it has EFT, it has different types of breathing techniques and journaling activities that you can do to help you embark on your healing journey and kind of work through the trauma that you're experiencing. So I just put the website in the chat for you all.
Perfect. Thank you. We're going to ask about 2 more questions, right? And I see here, 1 second. Okay. Someone asked, and I'll put this in the chat for Gloshonda. 1 second. My friends and I talk a lot about the intersection of digital misogynoir and the rising amount of people making their kids be content creators online. Youth Black children, specifically young Black girls, are exposed to endless sexualization, hate comments, and stuff. What observations have you had on how the failings of capitalism interacts with this online occurrence?
That's a good question. I literally saw someone tweeting about this the other day. And this came up in one of my conversations with one of my participants for my interview, that I interviewed as well. It is really unfortunate that we live in a society where we have a phone attached to our hand at all times, and that also impacts the youth, particularly the children. And I think about the adultification of Black girls and how Black girls are adultified at such a young age, and how posting them on social media opens them up to even more predators. I do not think that if a young Black girl wants to be a content creator, that she should be told that she cannot, but I do think that we need to figure out as a community how to better protect them from the abuse that they experience online. And I also think that we need to really take a deeper look into if this child being online is because they want to or because it's going to make money for the family. So it's almost like the kids in showbiz. Like, is this child a child actor because they're interested in acting, or is it because their parents know that they'll be able to get money out of them? And I think that is a tougher conversation that we need to have, particularly in our community, to make sure that we're protecting, in particular, young Black girls.
Thank you so much. There's actually, let me see this one next question here. What are your thoughts on digital anti-Blackness and explicit images of racial violence that go viral? My research is about the impacts of images of racial violence on the mental health of Black individuals and the effectiveness of these images for social change. Do you think the harm reduction strategies you describe are useful in this scenario too?
Yes. So actually in my data, it was proven by quite a few of my participants, if not all of them, that they use those same harm reduction tactics when they experience seeing police brutality online. They do the blocking, the reporting. They also will take hiatuses. They will private their pages if they post something about what's happening and they don't want a lot of harassment from the alt-right, right? So they are using these tactics as well when it comes to racial violence that goes viral, to protect themselves from having to witness it. I know I personally as well will mute keywords that come up. I will mute accounts that are posting the videos or block those accounts. One thing that I always tweet, and I tweet this all the time, is that I wish I could mute videos and photos. So I'm hoping that's something that happens in the future, because that will kind of really allow us to have a harm reduction tactic that keeps us protected from seeing those types of racialized violence.
Thank you so much for that, Kay. And like I said before, please do not feel slighted if we did not get to your question. Before I just wrap up and close, I want to offer Kay any other last remarks that you would like to share. Because this was such a generative, thought-provoking, and much needed teaching that I didn't even realize how much digital misogynoir impacts myself in my everyday life. So thank you so much. Just wanted to give you final words, Kay.
Oh, thank you. I just want to thank everyone for participating, and I want to thank you all for the questions and challenging me to think even more deeper about digital misogynoir. I'm still learning, and I'm hoping that you all learned something too today, and that you'll feel empowered to talk about this online and also with those in your community. If you have any other questions, I'm on social media. I will put my social media name in here. I am not a Beyonce stan. That's just my name because it's iconic. But you can find me at She They Beyonce on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. And if you have any other questions, feel free to message me.
Thank you so much, Kay. I just want to read some comments. Truly amazing. Definitely learned a bunch of things. Hope this happens again. I came late. Okay, by the way, y'all, this amazing teaching will be on Blackma Radical's YouTube channel. So please, please, please reference it. Make sure to cite K Cogill, right, in your research. Cite Black folks, period. Cite Black women, okay? But yes, this will be available. And also there will be a reading list posted on blackmaradicals.com eventually. So along with the teach-in link so that you can reference it. I'm just going to read a couple more comments. Thank you for this wonderful space and for being so generous with your knowledge and time. Also, someone said, Mercy. So you get in it all, other languages. Thank you, Kay. Okay. Someone said, proud of you, Sor. Thank you so much. I have a presentation on digital misogynoir tomorrow.
Oh, good luck.
So from the bottom of my heart, Kay, thank you so much for your expertise, your brilliance, your creativity, your time, talent, and torso. I'm so glad that we're connected, and I'm going to give you your flowers and just all the amazing work that you're doing. Please know that I know the PhD process is hard, but what you're doing is transforming the academy, community space, and beyond, because this is the type of research and even praxis that we need, right, in our everyday lives. So I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. I want to shout out the amazing Gloshonda and Kenton for their time as ASL interpreters. We appreciate you. We value you. Thank you so much. To everyone watching in the audience, thank you for being here. Please stay tuned to other amazing teach-ins coming in 2024. And thank you so much again, Professor Coghill, because you taught us truly how to clap back. So,
yay!
Yes. Thank y'all so much. Have a great one. Be safe. Ciao, ciao. Thank you, Kay.
Bye.
LaShonda. Bye, y'all.